Happy Friday, everybody, and here's a new one on our repertoire of use what you have. Today we're going to do, I keep using my little watercolor paints, but I'm just trying to teach you different ways to use what we have at home. I have kind of sketched a little flower pot with flowers because my friend Candy wanted me to teach something like this. So if you have any ideas of things that you would like to learn, just send me a message and send me a picture of more or less what you would like to learn how to paint, and that helps me pick out the design for the following week. And I only sketched it out because I'm painting upside down and it's kind of hard sometimes to keep a straight line if I'm looking at it, from the top down. But I like to do it this way so that when you're painting, you can see what I'm doing and not the back of my hand. So if you look at your paper, this happens to be a 5x7 watercolor cardstock from Strathmore. I'm gonna do my vase a little bit, a quarter of a way down from the top. And what I do is I hold my pen up and I make a little circle, and that's the top of my vase, right? And then I'm gonna do a little couple of lines here. So all we're doing is shapes, right? Circles and a big letter U. Everybody can do a letter U, right? And then I'm going to put a little triangle here to give it like a little shade. And this is going to be part of our table. So just a straight line, kind of curved, right? Not straight, but curved. And then there's going to be a little shade or shadow underneath here. And then the stems are just a straight line into your little pot. And you're going to have another one coming out over here and another one over here. Okay. My flowers, look, I'm just going to scribble a flower. I'm going to scribble another flower. And I'm going to have another flower here because you should always have uneven numbers of whatever you're doing, right? Okay, so we're going to start painting. I'm going to be using watercolors, so use whatever color you have at home. It doesn't matter. You can use kids' watercolors. So I'm going to start the vase with a little light blue. And I don't use a lot of paint in my brush. I just do mostly water. So see how I have a light blue here? So what I do is I put a little bit on my pot. I rinse it and I tap it on my paper towel, and then with clean water, I go all the way around so you can see the water in my little bucket here. And by the time I finish these lessons, my husband will be a pro at learning how to paint by just watching me paint every week. So I'm sure that he'll be really happy to get out of the house once this is all over with. But I appreciate him taping all of this. And so many of you are enjoying them, so he appreciates that you appreciate what he's doing. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of a little lilac here on the top of it. Why? I don't know. I just like the color. And I'm just going to do that just to outline my piece. Notice that I haven't done much moving around. And when you're doing a watercolor, remember that the paint is going to go wherever there's water. So if you don't want water on the outside edge here, don't put water there. If you don't want water out here, don't do that. So for the flowers, this is like super technical here. I'm just going to put a little bit of water in the center of my flowers. And I use the Sharpie permanent marker so they don't bleed. And that's why you can do this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a light color of red, and I'm just going to drop it into the flower and let the water do the painting for you. See how it spreads out? If it spreads too much, you can take your brush, press it down, and it sucks up some of the water. See that? So I'm going to take a little bit more paint and put it down here. And right now it doesn't look like much, right? But watch this. This is where the magic comes in. If you take a darker red and put it right underneath it, the water will connect with the lighter color. And if you leave it alone and don't touch it, don't keep going back and forth with it, you will have a nice little flower when we finish this. Isn't that cool? Okay. So I just get excited with all this painting, and I really appreciate everybody taking a look at this. So now for the bottom here, I just put a little bit of water because that's going to be my table area. And I'm going to take the same light pink that I used for the top of my flowers, and I'm going to put a little bit of that underneath here and let the water take it wherever it wants to go. Okay. And we have a little shadow underneath the pot. See how easy and fast this is going? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the shadow underneath my pot, and I'm going to take a little bit of that purple color that I used on the vase, and I'm just going to come here and drop that, just a little line. See that? Not much more than that. I'm going to rinse my brush completely, tap it on my paper towel, and just let the water do the work. See this? The paint will go wherever the water is, and that's how you're creating the little shade. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that green, because we have stems in our flowers, and I'm going to do a really straight line coming out of the pot, or the flower vase, I should say. And I'm going to have it going into the pot right here. See how cool that looks? I've always liked to paint. You know, if you take a coloring book and you start painting, you would be amazed of the things that you will create. Okay, we're almost done. So I know that there's a big difference between the green and the blue here. So what I'm going to do, this blue should be almost dry now. So I'm going to come in here and just tap a little of my green in there, because that's a reflection of the green in my pot. And for the background, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put plain old water in here, not, you know, just start on one side and take the light blue that I started with, and I dump it right outside here. I don't go right onto the vase and then move it around to give it a little color. See how cool that looks? I mean, you can do this on a note card and send it to your friends. This is actually a postcard. So you could actually put a stamp on this and mail it to somebody. You remember when you used to go on vacation and send people postcards? Well, this is kind of the same thing. If you have too much paint, just take your brush, lift it up, and voila, it's gone. So that is my little flower. And I'm gonna, and for the end of April, I have a surprise that I can't tell you about, so you have to stay tuned. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link will be on the bottom of this video, and this way you'll be notified of other videos coming up. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your weekend, and see you next week.